Was this really just a simple mistake? Or is there something much deeper lurking beneath the gates of Fairmont Crest? Honestly, I've been looking at the spoilers for Beyond the Gates, and things are getting incredibly dark. We're talking about a world where the elite think they're safe behind their fences, but a shadow has been pulling the strings for months. This shadow finally has a name, and it's one that's going to shake Joey Armstrong to his core. Heather. If you've been following the show, you know Joey is the kind of guy who likes to keep his secrets buried deep. But now, Heather is back, and she's demanding just one thing from him. What could it be? And why is Joey so terrified of her? Well, think about it. Joey has spent so much time building this image of a man who's in control. He's got the casino, he's got the influence, and he's even got Vanessa McBride falling for him. But when Vanessa started digging into his past, specifically his sister Heather, Joey absolutely lost it. He told her she had no right to insert herself into his family issues. Why such a huge reaction over a simple search for a sibling? It makes me wonder if Heather isn't just a sister, but the real mastermind behind everything we've seen. Is Heather actually the Impaler? Some fans definitely think so. If she is, then Joey isn't the big boss he pretends to be. He's just an enforcer for his own sister. Can you imagine the blow to his ego? The funny thing is, while all this high-stakes drama is happening, we still have this wild blood plasma ring storyline going on. I've seen the comments on Reddit, and you guys are hilarious. People are calling it unintentionally funny and inexplicable. I mean, Grayson is literally stealing bags of plasma from a clinic, and we're supposed to believe this is a massive, multi-million-dollar operation. The math just doesn't work. How many bags do you need to sell to buy a mansion in Fairmont Crest? Some fans were even hoping for a vampire twist just to make it make sense. But even if the plot is a bit messy, the emotional stakes are very real for the characters involved. Take Jacob Hawthorne, for example. He's been living this double life as Rashad for months. He's been away from his wife, Naomi, and he's been constantly on alert. Now that he's back, he's not the same man. He's obsessed with catching the Impaler to avenge Derek Baldwin's death. Naomi is watching him with eyes full of dread because she knows this obsession is going to cost him. It's actually heartbreaking to see. Jacob thinks he's being a hero, but he's really just traumatized. He's looking for a way to make Derek's death mean something, but he's losing his own life in the process. Why do we always see the hero character push away the people they love when they're hurting? It's such a classic soap opera move, but it still hurts to watch. And then there's the whole situation with Randy and Joey. These two are heading into a face-to-face meeting with the Impaler on Friday, June 5th. But here's the kicker. We're finding out that Randy has some deep secrets of his own. He and Hayley are going to discuss how their con against Bill Hamilton actually started. This changes everything. Randy isn't just a henchman, he's an architect of deception. If he's been lying to Joey this whole time, then Joey is walking straight into a trap. Do you think Randy is actually more loyal to the Impaler than he is to Joey? Maybe the Impaler is someone like Doug McBride, who everyone thought was dead. If Doug faked his death and has been running this ring while watching Joey sleep with his wife, that is some next-level revenge. Speaking of Bill, my heart really goes out to him. He's being poisoned by his own wife, Hayley, and he has no clue. She's been slipping slow-acting poison into his drinks, and it's starting to show. Joey even notices that Bill is off his game. It's a slow-burn betrayal that is just sickening to watch. Hayley is so calculated and deliberate, which makes her way more dangerous than someone who just snaps. She's playing the long game.
But why?
Is it just for money? Or is there a deeper grudge? And how will Bill react when he finally realizes the woman he trusts is literally killing him? That reckoning is going to be explosive. While all this is going down, the social hierarchy at the country club is as vicious as ever. Anastasia and Chessie are out here calling Samantha Orphan Annie and telling her she doesn't belong. It's so petty, but it shows how these people use their status as a weapon. They want to keep these strays out of their gated community. It's a different kind of violence than a shooting at a warehouse, but it's just as damaging. Samantha actually ran out of the club because the stress got to be too much. Don't you just want to reach through the screen and give her a hug? These elite characters are so focused on their own status that they don't care who they step on.
But the biggest event on the horizon is definitely the crossover with the young and the restless. Victor Newman himself is coming to Fairmont Crest. Vernon secured him as a keynote speaker for Martin's fundraiser. We're also getting the Abbotts, Jack, Diane, and Kyle. This is a massive moment for the show. These are two daytime universes colliding in one room. But spoilers say something is going to go horribly wrong and derail the entire evening. Is the Impaler going to strike during the fundraiser? If the blood plasma ring is connected to the Dupree family's political ambitions, then the fallout will be permanent. Nobody will be safe, not even the guests from Genoa City. I've been thinking about the psychology of a character like Joey. He's a man who has always tried to stay one step ahead of everyone else. But he's clearly terrified of Heather. If she's the one demanding that he do one thing for her, it's probably something he doesn't want to do. Maybe she's demanding he kill Jacob to stop the investigation. Or maybe she wants him to betray the Hawthorns entirely. If Joey is forced to choose between his blood family and the community he's tried to build, which way do you think he'll go? Personally, I think Joey's loyalty to Heather is built on fear, not love. And that kind of relationship always ends in a disaster. And let's not forget the shocking twist that's been floating around, that Joey himself might be the Impaler. If that's true, he's been the ultimate gaslighter. He's been pretending to be out of it while pulling every single string. There's even a spoiler that says Joey says 6 words to Jacob before trying to kill him. Can you believe that? Joey, a man we've watched for months, pulling a gun on Jacob to silence him forever. If this happens, it's going to leave the entire fandom stunned. How do you come back from that? How does Vanessa look at him ever again? The emotional weight of this show is really picking up. We have characters like Shenice and Andre who are just drowning in grief. Andre is confiding his fears in Chelsea, and it's rare to see him so vulnerable. It feels like the entire community of Fairmont Crest is fracturing. The gates were supposed to keep the danger out, but the danger was already inside the whole time. It was in the boardrooms, the clinics, and even the bedrooms. It makes me wonder if anyone in this show is actually good, or if they're all just varying shades of gray. So here are my big questions for you. First, do you think Heather is the one pulling Joey's strings, or is he the one truly in charge? And second, if Doug McBride is actually alive and running things from the shadows, how do you think Vanessa will handle that? I mean, she's in Joey's bed now. The drama is literally at an all-time high. I want to know your wildest theories. Who is the Impaler to you? Is it someone we've met or a total stranger? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I'm reading every single one. We are in for a wild ride these next few weeks, and you don't want to miss a single second. Was this really just a simple mistake? Or is there something much deeper lurking in the shadows of Fairmont Crest? Honestly, I've been looking at the latest spoilers for Beyond the Gates, and the tension is reaching a breaking point that most of us didn't see coming. We've spent months watching the Dupree family navigate their status as black royalty, but the real power might not even be sitting in that mansion. It feels like it's hiding in the one place Joey Armstrong doesn't want anyone to look. I'm talking about his past. Specifically, I'm talking about a woman named Heather. For weeks, we've been hearing her name whispered in the background, and now it feels like she might be the one actually pulling Joey's strings from the dark. If she is, it changes every single thing we thought we knew about the power dynamics in this town. Have you noticed how Joey, who usually acts like he's in total control, gets completely rattled the second her name comes up? Why is a man like that so terrified of his own sister? Well, think about it. Joey Armstrong is a guy who built an empire on being untouchable. He's got the casino, he's got the influence, and he's even got Vanessa McBride falling for him. But the moment Vanessa started digging into Heather's history, he didn't just get annoyed. He absolutely exploded. This wasn't just a boyfriend wanting a little privacy. This was a psychological alarm going off. He told Vanessa she had no right to insert herself into his family issues. The sheer ferocity of that reaction tells me that Heather isn't just a distant relative. I think she's a liability. Or even more likely, she's the one who gave him his power in the first place. I honestly believe Joey isn't the king of the Fairmont Crest underworld. He feels more like a protective buffer for the real mastermind. If Heather is the one demanding one thing from him, we're likely looking at the true face of the Impaler. The funny thing is, while we're all stressing over these high-stakes family secrets, the show is still trying to make us take this illegal blood plasma ring seriously. I've been reading the comments on Reddit, and you guys are absolutely right. The math on this operation is just hilariously bad. We've got Grayson stealing a few bags of plasma from a clinic, And we're supposed to believe this is funding a lifestyle of mansions and gated communities? The murky motive behind the ring has left a lot of us scratching our heads. Is it really for money, or is the blood being used for something way more sinister? I've seen fans joking that they were hoping for a vampire twist just to make it make sense. Personally, I think the writers are using the plasma ring as a narrative smokescreen. The real story isn't about the blood. It's about the loyalty and the psychological hold the Impaler has over these people. Look at Jacob Hawthorne for a second. He's been living this double life as Rashad for months, and it has clearly broken something inside of him. He's obsessed with catching the Impaler to avenge Derek Baldwin's death, but he's doing it at the cost of his own sanity and his marriage to Naomi. Naomi is watching him with eyes full of dread. She knows that his need for revenge is actually a trauma response he can't control. It's heartbreaking to see a man who was once so grounded become so reckless. Jacob thinks he's being a hero, but in reality he's just another piece on the board for whoever is running the show. Why is he so willing to throw his life away for a man who is already gone? It feels like he's trying to validate the months he spent in that unintentionally hilarious disguise as Rashad. Seriously, that fake accent was something else, wasn't it? And then we have Randy Parker. This is where the interpretation gets really interesting. For the longest time, Randy has been Joey's right-hand man. He's the loyal soldier who handles the dirty work. But the latest spoilers reveal that Randy and Hayley have a secret connection that goes back to the very beginning. They're going to sit down and discuss how their con against Bill Hamilton actually started. This reframes Randy's entire character. He's not just a henchman. He's a calculated architect of deception. If he's been lying to Joey this whole time, then Joey is walking into a literal death trap during their meeting with the Impaler on Friday, June 5th. I suspect Randy's true loyalty might actually be to someone like Doug McBride. I know everyone thinks Doug is dead, but this is a soap opera. If Doug faked his death and has been running this nightmare from the shadows, the emotional impact would be massive. Can you imagine Joey realizing the man whose wife he took is actually his boss? I disagree with the idea that Joey is just a victim of circumstance here. He's a grown man making choices, but those choices are clearly driven by a deep-seated insecurity. Look at how he tried to bond with Donnell by offering him those diamond cufflinks for the cotillion. It was such a desperate, hollow gesture. He's trying to buy the respect of a family he knows he can never truly be a part of because of the darkness he carries. Donnell saw right through it too. He noted that it felt like a moment that should have been between a father and son. Joey is trying to manufacture a legacy to hide the fact that his real legacy is tied to the Impaler and the plasma ring. It's a classic case of an ego trying to overcompensate for a rotting foundation. Do you think Joey actually cares about Donnell, or is he just using him to get closer to the Dupree royalty? Speaking of rotting foundations, we have to talk about Bill Hamilton. He's being slowly poisoned by his wife, Hayley, and he has absolutely no idea. The psychological layer here is just fascinating. Hayley isn't acting out of a sudden burst of rage. She is careful and calculated. She's making sure Bill stays in the dark while she systematically destroys him. Even Joey noticed that Bill is off his game, which shows just how much this betrayal is starting to physically manifest. Why is Hayley doing this? Is she working for the Impaler, or is this her own private vendetta? I honestly think Hayley is the most dangerous person in the show right now. She's doing her damage in the light of day while everyone else is looking for shadows. It's terrifying because it's so intimate. The person sharing your bed is the one trying to kill you. How does a person even recover from that kind of betrayal? The social hierarchy at the country club is just another version of this same power struggle. Anastasia and Chessie attacking Samantha and calling her Orphan Annie is just their way of enforcing the gates. They use their social status as a weapon to keep the strays in their place. It mirrors the way the Impaler uses fear and the plasma ring to control the community. Both are forms of exclusion meant to protect a sense of entitlement. It was sickening to watch Samantha run out of the club because the pressure of not belonging finally became too much. These people claim to be royalty, but they act like predators the moment they sense a weakness. Do you think Samantha will ever truly feel at home in Fairmont Crest? Or are those gates always going to be closed to her? Now, the upcoming crossover with the Young and the Restless is adding a massive new layer to this web. Victor Newman and the Abbotts arriving for Martin's fundraiser isn't just a fun cameo. It's a collision of power. Victor Newman is a man who understands the shadows better than anyone, and his presence is going to act like a spotlight. If the Impaler is planning to strike during this event, they are picking a fight with some of the most powerful people in the daytime universe. I predict that the fundraiser won't just be derailed. It's going to be the moment the plasma ring is tied directly to the Dupree family's political ambitions. If that happens, Vernon's legacy and Martin's future are effectively over. It's a bold move by the writers, and I'm here for the chaos. But let's go back to that shocking spoiler about Joey. There is a report that Joey is actually the Impaler himself, and that he's been gaslighting everyone for months. If this is true, his anger toward Vanessa about Heather takes on a completely different meaning. Maybe Heather doesn't exist at all, or maybe she's the one person who knows he's a fraud. In a deadly confrontation, Joey reportedly pulls a gun on Jacob and says 6 words before trying to silence him forever. This would be the ultimate betrayal of our trust as viewers. We've spent all this time wondering who is pulling Joey's strings, only to find out he's the one holding the leash. But I have to ask, if Joey is the boss, why does he look so panicked in every scene involving his past? To me, a real boss doesn't sweat the small stuff, and Joey has been sweating since day one. What do you think those 6 words are? My money is on something like, "I told you to stay away." The psychological toll on these characters is getting so heavy. Look at Andre, who usually projects such strength, finally admitting his fears to Chelsea. Or Grayson, who is literally begging for forgiveness from the woman whose husband died because of his choices. Everyone in Fairmont Crest is haunted by something. Whether it's a ghost like Derek or a shadow like Heather, no one is actually free. They live in a posh community, but they are prisoners of their own secrets. The gates aren't there to keep the danger out. They're there to keep the truth from getting out. And that truth is about to come crashing down on June 5th. I'm genuinely curious about your take on the Impaler reveal. Do you think it's possible that Joey is just a decoy and the real leader is someone we haven't met, like Heather? Or do you believe the theory that Doug McBride is the one orchestrating this entire nightmare from the grave? Personally, I think the Doug McBride twist would be the most emotionally devastating for the cast. It would turn their entire world into a demolition zone. If Randy has been loyal to Doug this whole time, then Joey has never had a single real ally in this town. That kind of isolation would drive anyone to the edge. We also have to consider Isaiah Hawthorne. He's the reformed bad boy who is now giving Joey ultimatums and pushing for the truth. Isaiah knows Joey's world because he used to live in it. Is he trying to save his brother Jacob, or is he trying to take over Joey's territory? The psychological dynamic between these two brothers, one a cop and one a former criminal, is a powder keg just waiting for a match. If Isaiah is actually the one behind the ring, it would be the ultimate slap in the face to his father, the police chief. It's a Shakespearean level of family conflict. Why is it always the people who claim to be reformed that we have to watch out for the most? If you want to stay updated on all the Beyond the Gates spoilers and get this kind of deep dive commentary every single week, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Seriously, ring that notification bell so you're the first to know when the truth finally comes out. We're going to be right here to break it all down, from the plasma ring nonsense to the high-stakes crossovers. Thanks for hanging out with me today. It's always a blast talking soaps with you all. Until next time, keep your eyes on the gates but watch your back, because you never know who's standing right behind you. See you in the next video.